Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Legal World. Myself Dr. Seema Goyal. As I have started with a series on the Indian Partnership Act. And in this series, I have discussed many important questions relating to the Partnership Act, which are important for the examination point of view. Today in this video, I am going to discuss one more important question relating to the Partnership Act. My question is, mention the circumstances in which dissolution of the partnership can take place and describe the procedure of the dissolution of the partnership. Or that may be distinguish between the dissolution of the firm and the dissolution of the partnership. Also state how and under what circumstances a firm may be dissolved. Or state clearly the ways in which the partnership firm can be dissolved and how are the accounts settled on dissolution. This is my question. If we talk about the dissolution of the partnership and dissolution of the firm, these are the two different words. Generally they seem similar. जेधारी के समापन एवं फर्म के समापन दोनों अलग अर्थों में इसका प्रयोग किया जाता है, परंतु देखने में वो एक दूसरे के पर्यायवाची नजर आते हैं। साझेदारी के आपस में किए गए अनुबंध के भंग होने पर साझेदारी का समापन होता है, जबकि फर्म का समापन केवल उसी दशा में होता है जब सभी साझेदार साझेदारी में कार्य करना बंद कर दें, अस्वीकार कर दें। एज पर पार्टनरशिप एक्ट सेक्शन 39 किसी भी फर्म के सभी साझेदारों के बीच साझेदारी की समाप्ति ही फर्म की समाप्ति कहलाती है। इन क्लियर वर्ड्स, फर्म की समाप्ति में साझेदारों का अनिवार्य रूप से समापन हो जाता है, लेकिन यह आवश्यक नहीं है कि साझेदारी की समाप्ति की दशा में फर्म भी समाप्त हो जाए। उदाहरण के लिए, यदि किसी साझेदार की मृत्यु, पृथक होना या फिर दिवालिया होने पर अन्य सभी साझेदार यदि मिलकर कार्य न कर रहे हों तो इसे फर्म का समापन नहीं कहा जाएगा, अपितु साझेदारी का समापन कहा जाएगा। If we talk about the methods of dissolution of the firm, there may be many methods by which a firm can be dissolved. These methods are discussed under section 39 to 45 of the Partnership Act. And the first method by which firm can be dissolved, that is dissolution by agreement. This means समझौते द्वारा समाप्ति। किसी भी फर्म को समाप्त करने के कई तरीके बताए गए हैं, जो सेक्शन 39 से लेकर 45 तक जिनका जिक्र किया गया है। जो पहला तरीका है, दैट इज डिसोल्यूशन बाय एग्रीमेंट, समझौते द्वारा समाप्ति। किसी भी फर्म को सभी साझेदारों की सहमति एवं उनके मध्य अनुबंध के द्वारा भी समाप्त किया जा सकता है। दैट इज डिस्कस्ड अंडर सेक्शन 40 ऑफ द इंडियन पार्टनरशिप एक्ट। सेकेंड टाइप ऑफ डिसोल्यूशन, दैट इज कंपल्सरी डिसोल्यूशन। दिस इज द सेकेंड मोड ऑफ डिसोल्यूशन ऑफ द पार्टनरशिप। कुछ ऐसी स्थितियां होती हैं जब फर्म को अनिवार्य रूप से समापन हो जाता है, जैसे कि जब कोई सभी या एक को छोड़कर शेष सभी साझेदार दिवालिया हो जाएं, या फिर जब किसी फर्म का व्यवसाय अवैध घोषित कर दिया जाए, जैसे कि फर्म जिस वस्तु का व्यापार कर रहा है यदि उसका क्रय विक्रय ही निषेध हो जाए, तो ऐसी स्थिति में हम यही कहेंगे कि यहाँ पे जो व्यवसाय है वह अवैध घोषित कर दिया गया है और वहाँ पर फर्म को अनिवार्य रूप से समाप्त करना पड़ेगा। कंपल्सरी डिसोल्यूशन, दैट इज डिस्कस्ड अंडर सेक्शन 41 ऑफ द इंडियन पार्टनरशिप एक्ट। थर्ड टाइप ऑफ डिसोल्यूशन, दैट इज डिसोल्यूशन ऑन द हैपनिंग ऑफ द सर्टेन कंटीजेंसीज। किसी घटना के घटित हो जाने पर भी फर्म का समापन किया जा सकता है। यदि कोई विपरीत अनुबंध न हो तो कुछ ऐसी स्थितियां बताई गई हैं जब फर्म की समाप्ति हो जाएगी, जैसे कि यदि उस व्यवसाय की स्थापना यदि एक किसी निश्चित अवधि के लिए की गई है तो उस अवधि के समाप्त होने पर फर्म स्वतः समाप्त हो जाएगी। सेकंड वन इज, यदि किसी फर्म की स्थापना किसी निश्चित कार्य को समापन करने के लिए की गई है तो उस कार्य के समाप्त हो जाने पर फर्म समाप्त हो जाएगी। एंड द नेक्स्ट इज, किसी साझेदार की मृत्यु हो जाने पर भी फर्म समाप्त हो जाती है। फोर्थ इज, किसी साझेदारी के दिवालिया घोषित हो जाने पर भी फर्म का समापन हो जाता है। एंड द लास्टली वी कैन से दैट किसी साझेदार के फर्म के अलग से हो जाने पर भी फर्म समाप्त हो जाती है। दीज मेथड्स आर डिस्कस्ड अंडर सेक्शन 42 of the Indian Partnership Act, where a firm can be dissolved on the happening of these contingencies. And the next mode of dissolution of the partnership, that is dissolution by the notice of the partnership at will. This means ऐच्छिक साझेदारी में सूचना द्वारा समाप्ति। ऐच्छिक साझेदारी की दशा में कोई भी साझेदार अन्य साझेदारों को फर्म के समापन करने की अपनी इच्छा की लिखित सूचना देकर भी फर्म को समाप्त कर सकता है। that is discussed under section 43 of the Indian Partnership Act. And the last mode of dissolution, that is dissolution by court. न्यायालय के द्वारा समाप्ति। जब भी कोई साझेदार यदि वाद प्रस्तुत कर दे और न्यायालय ऐसी दशाओं में फर्म की समाप्ति का आदेश दे सकता है, जैसे कि यदि कोई साझेदार पागल हो जाए और वहाँ पर साझेदार यदि कोर्ट में वाद प्रस्तुत करता है तो न्यायालय वहाँ पर फर्म की समाप्ति का आदेश दे सकता है। सेकंड टाइप इज किसी साझेदार के स्थायी रूप से असमर्थ हो जाने पर भी। थर्ड वन, किसी साझेदार के दुराचार के आधार पर। फोर्थली, किसी साझेदार द्वारा जानबूझकर साझेदारी अनुबंध का उल्लंघन किए जाने पर। फोर्थ इज किसी साझेदार द्वारा अपना हित हस्तांतरित किए जाने पर। एंड द नेक्स्ट वन इज किसी फर्म को लगातार हानि होने पर। एंड द लास्ट वन इज अन्य किसी आधार पर जिसके आधार कारण फर्म का समापन करना उचित एवं न्यायपूर्ण हो। ऐसी स्थिति में न्यायालय यदि चाहे तो वहां पर फर्म की समाप्ति का आदेश दे सकता है। एंड दीज मोड्स आर डिस्कस्ड इन द सेक्शन 44 ऑफ द इंडियन पार्टनरशिप एक्ट। If we talk about the settlement of accounts between the partners after the dissolution of the partnership firm, that are discussed in the section 48 and 49 of the Indian Partnership Act. According to section 48 and 49 of the Indian Partnership Act, साझेदार फर्म के समापन के पश्चात हिसाब किताब के निपटारे के संबंध में अन्य सुविधाओं के अभाव में कुछ व्यवस्थाएं लागू कर सकते हैं। कौन सी? नंबर 1, हानियों की पूर्ति। समस्त हानियों को पहले लाभ में से किसी भी पूंजी में से अंत में साझेदारों के लाभ हानि वितरण अनुपात में व्यक्तिगत रूप से पूरा कराया जाएगा। ये ऐसा सेक्शन 48 क्लोज ए के अंदर कहा गया है। सेकंड वन इज संपत्तियों का उपयोग। किसी भी फर्म की संपत्तियों से प्राप्त राशि का उपयोग निम्न प्रकार से किया जाएगा। सबसे पहले तृतीय पक्ष के ऋणों को चुकाया जाएगा, फिर साझेदारों द्वारा फर्म को दिए गए ऋण को चुकाया जाए। थर्डली, फिर साझेदारों को अनुपातिक पूंजी की को चुकाया जाए। एंड अंत में यदि कोई शेष रहता है तो साझेदारों के लाभ हानि के अनुपात में बांट दिया जाए। दिस इज डिस्कस्ड इन सेक्शन 48 क्लोज बी ऑफ द इंडियन पार्टनरशिप एक्ट कि संपत्तियों का प्रयोग कैसे किया जाएगा। एंड द लास्ट वन इज संपत्तियों का ऋणों में बंटवारा। किसी भी फर्म के सम्मिलित ऋण साझेदारों के व्यक्तिगत ऋण भी दे हैं तो फर्म की संपत्ति का उपयोग फर्म के सम्मिलित ऋणों के भुगतान के लिए सबसे पहले किया जाएगा और बाद में यदि कुछ शेष रहता है तो साझेदारों के व्यक्तिगत ऋणों को भुगतान उससे किया जाएगा। साझेदारों की व्यक्तिगत संपत्ति का प्रयोग सबसे पहले व्यक्तिगत दायित्वों के भुगतान के लिए किया जाएगा, तत्पश्चात फर्म के ऋण को चुकाने में किया जा सकता है। ऐसी व्यवस्थाएं बताई गई हैं जब भी कोई फर्म डिसॉल्व की जाती है तो उसके बाद फर्म की समाप्ति के होने के पश्चात हिसाब किताब का निपटारा करने के लिए ये व्यवस्था अपनाई जाएगी। If we talk about the dissolution of the partnership and dissolution of the partnership firm, these are the two different words. Here the dissolution of the partnership means dissolution of the partnership between all the partners of the firm. And that is called dissolution of the firm. And the firm is dissolved when all the partners stop carrying on the partnership business. If some of the partners disassociate from the firm and the remaining partners continue to the business of the firm, then we can't say that the firm is dissolved. And the dissolution of the firm is distinct from the retiredness of the partner. Dissolution of the partnership between all the partners of the firm known as dissolution of the firm. And dissolution of the partnership brings about the change in the relation between the partners. But the partnership between them does not completely end. Partnership continues for the purpose of realization of the assets and properties of the firm. As per section 46, on the dissolution of the firm, every partner or his representative is entitled, as against the other partners or their representative, to have the property of the firm applied in the payments and debts of the liabilities of the firm, and to have the surplus distributed among the partners or their representatives according to their rights. This means after the dissolution of the firm, authority of each partner to bind the firm and the other mutual rights and obligations of the partners continue, notwithstanding the dissolution, so far as may be necessary to wind up the affairs of the firm. To talk about the modes of the dissolution of the partnership, there can be many modes of the dissolution of the partnership, which are discussed from section 40 to 45 of the Indian Partnership Act. If we talk about the section 40, that provides about the dissolution of the partnership by agreement. Second one is compulsory dissolution, which is discussed under section 41 of the Indian Partnership Act. Third one is dissolution of the partnership on happening of the certain contingencies, which are discussed under section 42 of the Indian Partnership Act. And the next one is dissolution of the by notice of the partnership at will, which are discussed in the section 43 of the Indian Partnership Act. And lastly, that is dissolution by the court, which is discussed in the section 44 of the Indian Partnership Act. If we talk about the dissolution of the agreement, dissolution of the partnership by agreement, as per section 40, a firm may be dissolved with the consent of all the partners or in accordance with the contract between the partners. This means section 40 provides two modes of the dissolution of the partnership by agreement. Firstly, a firm may be dissolved at any time with the consent of all the partners. Secondly, a firm may be dissolved in accordance with the contract between the partners, and this contract may be either given in the partnership deed through their partnership is established or the other contract between the partners. The contract may be either be the partnership deed through which partnership is established or any other contract between the partners. If the partnership deed contains any provision regarding the dissolution of the partnership firm, then the firm is dissolved accordingly. If we talk about the second type of dissolution, that is compulsory dissolution, which is discussed in the section 41 of the Indian Partnership Act. Compulsory dissolution of the firm may take place on the certain grounds. First ground is all the partners or all the partners but one becomes insolvent. Then the firm may be dissolved as per section 41 of the Indian Partnership Act. And the second type of compulsory dissolution of the partnership, that is on the happening of an event making the business of the firm unlawful. A firm may be dissolved by the happening of any event which makes it unlawful for the business of the firm to be carried on or for the partners to carry on the partnership. Similarly, where the business of the firm consists the several undertakings and one of the undertaking becomes illegal, then the other undertaking shall remain valid if the illegal undertaking is severable from the legal undertaking. And the third type of dissolution of the partnership, that is dissolution on the happening of the certain contingencies, which are discussed in the section 42 of the Indian Partnership Act. There are the given certain contingencies on the happening of which a firm can be dissolved. First contingency is by the expiry of the fixed term. If a firm is constituted for a fixed term, then after the expiry of that term, firm is dissolved. It may be noted by the section 42 clause A and 42 clause B, that is relating to the completion of the one or more adventures of the undertaking, are subject to section 42 clause C, that is relating to death of the partner, and section 42 clause D, that is regarding the adjudication of the partner as an insolvent. If a partner dies or is adjudicated as insolvent, then in the absence of contrary between the partners, the firm is dissolved. And the term of the partnership being fixed is clearly not a contrary provision under section 42. It may also be noted that even after the expiry of the fixed term, by mutual consent of the partners, it may be continued. But if there is no such mutual consent, then the partnership dissolved on the expiry of the fixed term. Second one is on the completion of the undertaking. If a partnership is constituted for an undertaking, then after the completion of that particular undertaking, the firm is dissolved as per section 42 clause B of the Indian Partnership Act. As in the case of Gherulal Parekh versus Mahadev Das Malaya, in this case, the partnership was constituted for the particular transaction relating to the purchase and sale of the wheat. And after the completion of that undertaking, it was held by the Honorable Apex Court that the firm was immediately dissolved after the completion of that undertaking. And Honorable Apex Court also held that the firm was not immediately dissolved. It would be dissolved only after the realization of the assets. And third one is by the death of the partner, may also be firm is dissolved. Subject to the contract to the contrary between the partners, a firm may be dissolved after the death of a partner. The main reason behind this rule is that the firm is not a person, it is only a group of persons. And the name of the firm is only the collective name of the persons who constitute in the firm. In other words, the name of the firm is a mode of describing the persons who have agreed on to carry on the business of the firm. And the next type of dissolution of the partnership, that is by the adjudication of the partnership as an insolvent. Subject to the contract between the contrary between the partners, a firm may be dissolved by the adjudication of a partner as an insolvent. And the next mode of dissolution, that is mode of dissolution of the partnership by notice of the partnership at will. As per section 43 of the Indian Partnership Act, where the partnership is at will, the firm may be dissolved by giving the notice by any of the partner in writing to all the partners, explaining his intention to dissolve the firm. The firm is dissolved as from the date mentioned in the notice as the date of the dissolution, or if no date is mentioned, as from the date of communication of the notice. As per section 43 clause 1, the partnership is at will. Any partner may dissolve the firm by giving the notice in case of the partnership at will. But in order to dissolve the firm, certain conditions must be satisfied. That is, notice must be given in writing, and notice must express the intention of the partner to dissolve the firm. And lastly, the written notice must be given to all the partners, all the other partners. By filing a suit in the court, that is not deemed to be notice. It was clearly held by the Honorable Apex Court in the case of Banarsi Das versus Seth Kasiram. The Honorable Apex Court held that under the section 43 clause 2, notice must contain the date from which the firm will be dissolved. And the question of writing the date of the dissolution of the partnership in a plaint, that does not arise. Thus, the plaint can't be deemed to be a notice under section 43 clause 1. And the last mode of dissolution of the partnership, that is dissolution by the court. As per section 44 of the Indian Partnership Act, court may order the dissolution of the firm on the certain grounds. Firstly is if partner becomes of unsound mind. At the suit of the partner, court may dissolve the firm on the ground that a partner has become of unsound mind, in which the case suit may well be brought as well as the next friend of the partner who has become the unsound mind. Since a person of unsound mind cannot properly perform his duties in the partnership firm, it is in the interest of the person as well as the other partners that the firm must be dissolved. Hence, the next friend of the unsound mind partner or any other partner may brought a suit requesting the court to dissolve the firm. Mode of dissolution, that is a partner becoming the permanently incapable. At the suit of the partner, the court may dissolve the firm on the ground that a partner has become permanently incapable of performing his duties. If the incapacity is temporary and it does not affect the duties of the partner, the firm will not be dissolved on this ground. For example, if there is fracture in the bone of the hand or the leg of the partner, that may be rectified. The partner suffers from any paralysis, but he is improving speedily by treatment. The firm cannot be dissolved. And the next type of dissolution, where the court may order that partner guilty of the conduct likely to affect the prejudicially the carrying on the business of the firm. At the suit of the partner, the court may dissolve the firm on the ground that a partner other than the partner suing is guilty of conduct which is likely to affect the prejudicially the business of the firm. We talk about the modes of settlement of accounts between the partners on the dissolution of the firm. In settling the accounts of the firm after the dissolution, certain rules must be followed, subject to the agreement between the partners. First rule is, losses including the deficiencies of the capital shall be paid first out of the profit, next out of capital, and lastly, if necessary by the partners individually in the proportion in which they are entitled to share their profits. Please, the assets of the firm including any sum contributed by the partners to make up the deficiencies of the capital shall be applied in the following manner and order. First order is in paying the debt of the firm to third parties. Second is in to each partner ratably what is due to him from the firm for the advances as distinguished from the capital. Third is, in paying to each partner ratably what is due to him on account of the capital. And lastly, the residue, if any, shall be divided among the partners in the proportion in which they are entitled to share the profits. If we talk about the payments of the firm debts of separate debts, where there are joint debts due from the firm and also separate debts due from the partner, the property of the firm shall be applied in the first instance to the payment of the debts of the firm. And if there is any surplus, then the share of the partner shall be applied in the payment of his separate debts of the paid to him. The separate property of the partner shall be firstly applied in the payment of his separate debts. And if there is any surplus, in the payment of the debt of the firm, that property may be applied. So this was all about the dissolution of the firm. And if you have any doubt, you must put down in the comment section. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe this channel for the further update. Thank you.